What's good, YouTube? It's your boy T Flame, T Fuego, T Get It All Till I Can't Get No More. And today we're gonna be ranking the Metal Masters releases. If I'm being honest, as much as I love Metal Fusion for nostalgia, Metal Masters definitely, I think, not only had the most iconic Beyblades, but also some of the strongest Beyblades in terms of stock combo. I know with Metal Fury and Metal, like with the 4D stuff, it gets kind of crazy. But Metal Masters, in my opinion, through and through, has, I gotta say, probably my favorite releases of all of Beyblade, right? So let's get into it. You know, if you didn't see part 1 where we ranked the Metal Fusion releases, I'll link that in the description down below so you can check that out. If you're new and you didn't see how we did the tier list, we got these tiers, right? This is basically, you know, some people do tier A, B, C, D. Nah, listen. This is the tiers we got. We got GOAT, greatest of all time. If you didn't know, that's what GOAT stands for. Not a little bad GOAT. Then you got solid. Pretty good releases, pretty solid. Not up there with the Ghosts, but they can hold their own. Mid, maybe it has a good part on it, but overall the release is kind of not great. Bad means obviously it's not good. And trash, let's see, we got any candidates for trash I want to throw up in there already? You know what? I'll throw this in there because this this was not released. These two Ray Cancers, Ray Gashers were not released. But I'll tell you, this one's trash. You know why? Because in the show, it was Ray Gasher M145Q. Basically Storm Capricorn, but with Ray. Garbage. Trash. But I don't think there's a lot of Metal Masters releases that are trash. We'll get to them as we get to them. But regardless, if y'all excited for today's video, and y'all, let me know y'all tier lists down below. Let me know your favorite Metal Masters release. And let's get into it. Before we do that, man, wait, where'd I put my water? We stay hydrated around here. So make sure you stay hydrated. Alright. I said there wasn't a lot of trash releases. Now look at the first one, and this is going to go in trash. This is going to go on the top of trash. Counter Scorpio, horrendous combo. Now, you know, the Scorpio energy ring, I guess, is good on Flash, but I think it is the lightest energy ring ever. So, not a good energy ring. Counter is not great. Even though it's based off of Pre-Hybrid Leon, Pre-Hybrid Leon has a lot more weight to it. Counter is a lot more rounded. The points on Counter don't do as much damage. It's not great for defense. It comes with 145D. No, it's just, this is just not a good release. Flame Serpent is also 45 flat. Now, flat on Flame is horrendous because Flame has 0 attack potential. You see, you got the little knots right there, and right there, the 2 little flame points. But that's not going to really do any damage. You get S145. The Serpent Energy Ring has good weight, so it's a good way to get Serpent, I guess, but the combo itself is very bad. It might go down to trash, but right now it's going to go in bad. I just think Flame is a good fusion wheel. And I just think this combo is better than Counter Scorpio. Counter Scorpio, I think, is one of the worst Beyblades ever released. Now, this might be a sleeper pick, but Cyber Aquario is actually going to go up into, I think I'm going to put it in Goated. Now, listen. The main reason why. This is the most competitive, or one of, you know what? No, I'll take that back. Something else is going to go in as the best stock attack combo. My fault. But it's going to go in Solid. This is one of the best Beyblades to get. Why? Well, if you can get the Hasbro version, which I did get a few months ago, this is Cyber Aquario 105RF. That is an actual competitive combo people use in the Beyblade Metal Fight Limited format. You know, I do a lot of videos on the limited format, right? I do. It's my favorite format in Beyblade because it's the most diverse. You know, there isn't, like, it's not like with 4D, you get a lot. I might get into 4D, but with like 0G, you got a lot of Synchron, stupid stuff. With the limited format, a lot of cheap parts can be really good. Cyber is one of the cheapest parts you can get in Metal Fight, and it's really good for attack. And so this combo, and this is a stock combo you can literally, people use in tournaments. And so that's why it's going to go up to Solid. I don't know. I don't think I could put in GOAT because it's not iconic at all. It was used by a side character in the anime, what was it, Marcus? So it wasn't iconic at all, but if you know anything about this combo, you know it's solid. Grand Capricorn is the definition of mid. The Grand Fusion Wheel is interesting. It's round, but it's a little recoily because it's not completely round. But it's very hollow. In the anime, they even make it a reference to say it looks thick, but it's hollow. And that really is what hold Grand back. Because when you have things like Earth, when you have other combo or other fusion wheels that are just as round, when you're like, the shape just isn't too good. And the 145 spin track is not good. 145 spin tracks are only good if you have a gimmick, and it does not have a gimmick. The defense performance tip is okay. Capricorn has good weight, but overall, this is just a very mid combo. Honestly, it could go down to bad depending on how, like, because I'm looking at these bays, and I think a lot go in solid to GOAT. So I'm putting this in mid right now, but depending if mid gets filled, we're gonna put maybe move this down to bad. But okay, that's GOAT. Like, there's no explanation needed for Meteor Drago being a GOAT. It literally invented the idea of spin stealing, right? Of course, I don't know if spin stealing existed in Plastic Generation, but the idea of rubber, contact, and spin stealing, that was all El Drago. And this Beyblade made a lot of kids' childhood. Lightning, I won't argue, Meteor El Drago, I think, might be more iconic than Lightning El Drago, because Lightning El Drago, of course, was very you know, iconic for Metal Fusion, but I think a lot of people have more memories with Meteor El Drago spin stealing, because I think that was a little bit more iconic than just normal Lightning El Drago. I'm not saying Lightning El Drago is not iconic, but just the spin stealing, I think this was probably the most popular El Drago Bay. And if you were there growing up, you knew. I knew this guy. I had this guy, of course. He was a menace. And you could talk about stock combos. If anything, LF, it's tall, but it's flat, so it has a decent amount of life after death, which allowed this combo, even in stock, to spin steal just because of how flat it is. When a tip is flat, even though it doesn't have a lot of stamina, it can stand up good. So that way it can like have not life after death, but like it won't wobble as much because the bottom is flat, so long as it doesn't tilt. This is why things like Giga Flat, the ultra flat tips, in Metal Fight can be used to like spin steal a little bit. This is why Circle Flat is good. But LF isn't the best for that, but it can do it. And so in stock, you could argue Meteor Drago isn't the best, but regardless, there's no way. I mean, it's iconic. It's literally just. Merch. Alright, sorry, I just got a little text message. Anyway, next up, Cyclone Herculeo is going to go into solid. The Cyclone Fusion Wheel is good. I like it. I feel like Cyclone, though, goes between solid and mid. Because the parts, you know what? I'm going to put it at the top of mid. Just because the only good part on this guy is Cyclone. It comes with 105F. F is not good. Herculeo is interesting. But it's just, I don't know. Cyclone is really good, but all the other parts aren't great. And like an energy ring, I don't think if you have a great energy ring that matters that much. Like Serpent has a great energy ring and all the other parts are bad, but like I'm not going to put Serpent up here just because of the energy ring, right? So I'm not going to really take into account the energy ring that much. But yeah, no, Cyclone, I did a video on this. I think I did a Zero Use Sunday on this. Cyclone can smack. It's like a little bit more, it's similar to Cyber, except I think it has better upper attacks. I guess kind of, but I think it's really good. If only this was released on a better combo, like if you put this thing on RF, it'll go crazy. But anyway, Ray Gill is going to, I think I'm gonna put Ray Gill in solid. The main reason, couple of reasons. The Gill energy ring is actually really solid for like offense because it sticks out, and if Bays attack it, it'll do damage, right? So if you put this thing on like a rock or a Bakushin, it'll do kind of solid. I mainly recommend it on like a rock fusion wheel though. Bakushin, always use Leon with Bakushin. You're always going to do that. RSF is a good defense performance tip. And that's the main reason why anyone buys this guy is for RSF. Ray is an interesting fusion wheel. It's not the greatest at attack, but it has potential. So overall, it has a tip that's really good. The spin track 105 is solid. I can't remember if it's 100 or 105, but regardless, that's a solid attack track. You got a very mid fusion wheel, but a very top tier energy ring. So I think those parts can move it up to solid. I think this was a solid Beyblade. Like I think you get good value in buying Ray Gill, right? You get a good energy ring, good parts. Ray is not the greatest, but it has potential. I did a video on Ray. It has potential. But, you know, part of me, I'm gonna put it down in mid just because, again, I'm thinking to myself, there's other bays that are gonna go right here. And I don't think Ray Gill is on the same level as Cyber Aquarium and some other bays we're gonna put here. Another bay we're gonna put there is Flame Bixis. The Flame Bixis is going to go in solid. I'll even put it in the top of solid, just because essentially you get one of the best stock combos here, minus the performance tip. Yes, wide defense is great, but if you put Coach Sharp on it, Ray Unicorno's tip, you get one of the best combos you could ever make, right? So it is still good with wide defense, right? But with Coach Sharp, it just takes it on another level. And so the fact that it's just like, you get good value with this guy. This is the definition of good value. I was talking about Ray Gill is good value. You get great value with this. Flame, great. 230, great. WD, great. Parts together, great. But if you have CS, it'll be even better. But essentially, you don't get a single bad part on this guy, which is why he's in solid. I mean, honestly, you could pull up with this guy to a tournament and probably do really well, because CS is only really good for you get a little extra height, and it's good against like higher attackers, like if someone's running something on an R145 or something like that. But regardless, Flame Bixis, very iconic. If you had this Beyblade growing up, you knew this guy was good. This was probably one of the only Beyblades I could get to sometimes beat Twisted Tempo. I remember I used to play Beyblades with one of my uncles back in the day, and he loved Twisted Tempo. And Flame Bixis was one of the only bays I could get it. Not all the time, but sometimes. Twisted Tempo, Basalt Hirogium. I think a lot of people, it's weird because at the time, a lot of people said Basalt Hirogium because, like, well, when watching Beyblade grow up, a lot of people, the Japan releases were like a year / a season ahead of the North American releases. So we knew about Twisted Tempo being referred to as Basalt Hirogium a long time, but now that Beyblade's resurging, you know, more people knew it as Twisted Tempo because not everyone was on YouTube. But anyway, it's interesting to see people start saying Twisted Tempo instead of anyway, sorry, mini rant. But anyway, great value. It's not in GOAT because there's some, I think to be GOAT, you have to be like on this level, right? So next we got Ray Unicorno, which is going to go in the top of mid. Ray Unicorno, you know, if you're getting this guy, you get it for the CS. You also get the interesting energy ring that it's like 3-bladed, so you do good on 3-bladed stuff. So like if you put this on Cyber or even on Ray, it'll still do good. Hell, I think Grand is 3-sided technically, right? So I guess you could do good there. But you get this thing for CS. Wait, you know what? Actually, I'll put this in solid. Why? Because D120 is one of the best spin tracks ever created. It is the best low, in my opinion. It's like, it's good on things that are like you don't want to scrape, like Scythe, Hasbro Scythe. I was using it on that, but I think D120 is just a great spin track. You're not extremely low, but I consider it a low height track, but I use it a lot basically. D120 is good on Bakushin. Honestly, if you change the energy ring here to like Bakushin, you got a good combo, right? It's just the Ray fusion wheel is not great. Like, they released Ray on 2 Beyblades that are very like, RSF is not aggressive. CS can be aggressive depending on your mold, but most of the time you don't really use it for attack power. But if Ray was on like, hell, Thermal Lacerda right here, we'll move this up. If Thermal Lacerda's, if you put, like, if they put Thermal on Gill, if they switch these two, it would be a different. Like, Ray Gill on Thermal with RSF would be a lot better. And then Lacerda with HF and Ray would actually be a lot better because they have a lot more attack potential. But they didn't do that. So because they didn't do that, you know, Ray, I think this has a little bit more value than Ray Gill. I think CS is a lot more consistent than RSF. You get more stamina, and you get more height. D120 is also better than 105. In my opinion, you get more value out of that. Speaking of Thermal Lacerda, this is going to go in the top of bad. Thermal's a good energy fusion wheel. I do like Thermal. It has good destabilization abilities. It has good stamina. It can have good defense. I'm gonna do a video on thermal soon. If I haven't already, I don't remember. But I've been testing thermal a lot. Video coming out on soon. This Beyblade it's supposed to be a balanced Bey. You know what's crazy? Like, the two bays right here are both balanced bays. That's because with balanced bays, the stock combos for balanced bays are usually always bad. Because they take things that don't belong together and put them together and say that, oh, it has different parts. No, these parts do not belong together. Whole flat is an aggressive tip. Thermal does not have any aggression. The only kind of attack you can get out of thermal is because it has a slope, is you could potentially get upper attack. But the problem is it's on WA-130. And WA-130 is a tall to mid-height track. So the chances of Lacerda getting under to do any damage is not great. The Lacerda Energy Ring has good weight. But honestly, I think, like I said, this is just, they didn't know what they wanted, right? Like, this could have easily been a really a better Beyblade if they would have just given this thing like Ray or something else. If they gave it Rock, I would have settled. But they didn't. So wait, let me get hydrated. I'm getting a little thirsty. Merch. All right. Anyway, so that's that. Evil Befall Killer Be Foul is going to go into I'm thinking about this one. I'm putting this guy in mid. You know why? Because the only reason why this guy has any value, at all, is because of Eternal Wide Defense. Now, Eternal Wide Defense is the best stamina tip in the game. It is. I think it's more consistent than Bearing Drive because you can have this thing on a low height. Bearing Drive's weakness is that it can get upward attack and doesn't have the best KO resistance. With EWD, it has metal in it, which gives a little bit more weight. But not only that, you can put on a low track, right? Eternal Wide Defense is the best part on this guy, right? That is the only reason why this guy is any sort of relevant. The fusion wheel, garbage. I did a video on it. UW145, I don't have it, but it's garbage. It's like SWD but worse. You have a higher scrape risk because the wings are like angled, and especially on Evil, which has a lip under it, the wings aren't going to do anything. And if anything, the wings aren't recoily enough. If you're going to have recoil, you're going to use R145 or H145. This guy's not hanging up there, right? So EWD is a great part. I have EWD. I bought an EWD. I did not buy the whole Beyblade. But I mean, the energy ring, I don't know. I think maybe it has weight. But overall, this combo is not great. And if you're buying this guy, you're only buying this guy for EWD. You are not buying this Bey for any other reason than the performance tip, which is the greatest performance tip. Like, this performance tip makes Meteor El Drago insane. So this makes Meteor El Drago absolutely insane. So sorry about that. But anyway, ooh, someone downstairs. Oh, my dog's barking. Sorry about that. But anyway, Meteor El Drago. Wait, we're not talking about Meteor El Drago. This makes Meteor El Drago insane, but it's mid. It's mid. You can't put this guy in solid because like the entire Bey is bad. You don't have any other value. Anyway, Carbex Go. Why? It has two modes. You only really use one. The Boost Disc 145 when it's up is like gives you insane stamina and defense. This is one of the best stock combos to ever exist. It's a menace. This guy goes toe to toe with Twisted Tempo. It has good defense, good stamina, and honestly, it comes with DS, and DS is a very bad tip. I mean, it's like defense but worse. And if you just put a wide defense on this guy, there's that limited edition one, the blue one, that actually comes with Eternal Wide Defense. And if that one was on here, I think that would be, I think in my opinion, that's the best stock combo Beyblade, period. So it has good weight, it's wider, and the Hell Wheel is like interesting because It's banned and limited because of how wide and heavy it is, but it's a good wheel because it can be good for attack, it can be good for defense, it can be good for stamina. And BD145, you know, the idea was it was supposed to only work with this. You could use it with other Beyblades, but if you do, you have to put it upside down and then you have a higher scrape risk. But when you put things like, when you put things like RDF, which can mitigate that, when you put things like CS, Metal Ball, taller tips that can kind of avoid that factor, you get a really, really one of the best tracks ever. In addition to having, believe being the heaviest track, I think E230 might be a little taller. But regardless, this guy, I mean, if you had this guy growing up, you knew. He was up there. He was up there. I mean, what I did like in Beyblade, what I really liked in Beyblade a lot of times is that the strongest bladers usually had the best Beyblades, right? Which I think in Metal Masters was like the biggest time where that happened, because in Metal, let's look at Metal Fusion. Doji, Beyblade was not great. Poison Serpent was not great. Lightning Ultrago was good. But in Metal Masters, all of the antagonist Beyblades, like the real big bads, were really good. Like Ultrago, like Ryuga wasn't that bad, but still, Meteor Drago, great. Hell Kerbex, great. I'd say probably the weakest antagonist would probably be Ray Gill, but Ray Gill is actually solid. Next up, Screw/Spiral Capricorn. Go. Now, when I was talking about Cyber Quario being the greatest stock attack combo, you know, I was thinking about putting Cyber Quario in GOAT, but then I thought about, this was the Bay I was thinking about earlier, Spiral Capricorn. This Bay is the best attack combo in stock. Why? Because literally every single part on it is good. Every single part on it does what attack needs to do. It has Metal Flat, which has the most stamina of any attack tip, meaning you're going to get a lot of attacks in, right? And have enough stamina to live and potentially outlast the other Beyblade after you do a lot of damage. Comes with 90, the second lowest spin track, which makes the Beyblade low, and it complements Spiral really well, which can smash but also has curves so that way it can upper attack. Spiral is, in my opinion, I think Spiral is the best best metal wheel for attack in the limited format. I think it could even, honestly, I think if you get Spiral on like a good enough combo, it probably could go to toe to toe with some 4D stuff. Spiral's that good. I think people were talking about banning Spiral in the limited format. No, you can't do that. But Spiral is just really good. This guy, get this guy, I 100% recommend. If you get into Beyblade and you need a Beyblade to get these three, honestly, if you get these three, you're pretty solid. I mean, but anyway, yeah, it speaks for itself. Spiral Capricorn, great. Yeah, this is gonna have to go up in the GOAT as well. Why? Twisted Tempo speaks for itself. Was the biggest menace on the playground. Was the biggest menace, you know, in the Hasbro stadiums, which were just bowls. Hasbro stadiums did not have pockets, unless you got one of the weird ones that they reused. I like to call it like the W105 shape, where it's like the stadium. You know the Hasbro stadiums I'm talking about, where they got two pockets on the side. It looks like W105. Galaxy Pegasus' spin track. Those, even in those stadiums, it's hard to get knockout in. So Twisted Tempo was just a menace. I mean, it's literally the strongest Beyblade ever. It's heavy. It has crazy life after death. It made 145 spin track actually good. If you put this thing on like 100, it'd be even better. But they even had to weaken this guy. That if you didn't, like in Basalt, if you didn't know, or Twisted, you know, it has that staircase shape, because if it was perfectly circle, it'd be really impossible to beat. So they gave it the imperfection. But even with that, it's still stupid. It's still good. It's round. It's heavy. This shape is always going to be good. I'd say probably even in the 4D format, this is going to be good. So, I mean, it speaks for itself. I mean, is anyone surprised why this is up here? Anyway, Grand Cetus. We're going to rank both of them right now. Both of them are going to be mid. Both of them are going to be mid. I think I like them both more than Ray Gill. Just because you get RS, and RS is the best defense tip, period. Rubber Ball, Rubber Ball is good, but it's not, well, yeah. I mean, RS does not have good life after death whatsoever, and it has not that great stamina. But RS is just really iconic, and the fact that these two introduced us to RS, like Grand is not good, right? Grand is not good, right? Which is why Grand Capricorn, which is also a defense type, is not good. But when you put it on RS, it makes it able to tank things. These two guys are able to tank some stuff surprisingly just because of RS. And so because of that, I mean, they're good. They're good for that. Now, I can't put them above Evil Befall because EWD is far better than RS, so you get a lot more value out of it. But RS is better than RSF, and these two, I don't know. Like, Cyclone is great, but you need a lot of work. With these guys, if you change the energy, the fusion wheel on both of them, you get good. Here, you got to change a little bit of stuff. Here, yeah, Capricorn's going to move down to bad, just because I can't, all 5 of these bays, I can't put Capricorn on that level. Pre-Hybrid Aquario, technically released before Metal Masters, but was prominent in Metal Masters because of May's Bay. This is going to go into, I'd say, the top of mid. You know what? Actually, we're going to move this up, and I'm going to move Unicorno down to mid, just because CS is good, but I see some other stuff that's going to be put in solid. So, yeah, no. Aquario's great. It's, in my opinion, I think it's right up there next to Pre-Hybrid, Pegasus. Really great attack. You could honestly use this guy for some defensive, like counter attack combos, to be honest. It has a lot of potential. It does come on 105F, which is not great, but the shape, honestly, even with 105F, the shape can carry it. It's crazy we got 2 Aquarios in the same tier. We got, I think, didn't we get like, we got a new Aquario back to back. We got 2 in this season. And then I don't think we got any Aquarios in Metal Fury. But anyway, yeah. Pre-Hybrid Aquario is great. Like, it just is. Great shape. Yeah. Anyway. Rock Zarafa is going to go into the top of solid. Why? This might be a little biased, but Rock is great for attack. It's good for stamina. Well, not stamina. It's bad for stamina. But it's great for attack. It's great for anti-attack, and it's great for defense. On this combo with R145, you're going to absorb lower hits. Lower hits aren't going to damage you that much. You do lose life after death because R145, it reduces life after death. Because as soon as the rubber touches the stadium, creates a lot of friction, you lose. But you're able to tank good hits because of R145. And R145 is a great part. You're always going to see this. This part is always used on like Pegasus, literally on Spiral. It's a great part. And I think you get a good value out of this too. Rock is, I think Zarafa is an interesting energy ring. Rock is great. R145 is great. Ball is not. Wide ball is not great. But I think with R145 carries it. It's just a really good part. But at least like compared to Evil Befall, where like it's just eternal wide defense, you get Rock and you get R145, which are both great parts. But yeah, it goes right here. It goes right here. I can't put it any higher than that because this is a better stock combo. This is a better stock combo. This isn't the greatest stock combo, but it's cool. Okay, it's cool. And this is my list, bro. I can have whatever logic I want because this is my list. Poison Virgo, trash. They took Poison Serpent and made it worse. I didn't know that was possible. This might go up to bad. No, I'm kidding, but. I think, I gotta do a tournament. I went through a tournament with all the worst combos to determine, like, the worst combos from the anime and see which one's actually is the worst. Gravity Perseus is going to go up to GOAT. It's the first dual spin Beyblade. It is great at attack, great at defense, great at stamina. This guy was banned from the limited format when it first released, but it got unbanned and it runs the format because it's really good. It's very iconic. Now, I did do that video talking about the anime moments, and I think Julian Konzern, he did not deserve this Bay. I think a much cooler person should have had this Beyblade. Julian Konzern was a little bit of a anyway, I mean, it speaks for itself. The stock combo isn't the greatest, but I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, you do get WD. And yeah, I mean, it's still just a great Bay. Through and through. It's the reason why, I mean, I think it's very iconic. It's very iconic. Like, it's got to go up there. and it actually is like useful. Like it's one of the bays that has a little bit of gimmicks, but it's actually useful. Burn Wolf SW145WD is going to go at the bottom of solid. Why? Sorry about my dog barking. Even though SW145 is not the greatest track, Burn with wide defense is solid. My best combo, my best stamina combo you see on the channel all the time. Burn Pegasus 105 WD. You put Burn and WD together, it's always good. You're always gonna have a good time. So, I think this is a great stock combo. It wasn't released that much. I know Hasbro did release this guy, which I don't think there was like an official image for it like this, which is weird. No, there probably was, because it was released by Hasbro. But anyway, really good bay, really good bay. Vulcan Harusius is going to go in solid. Why? Alright, stock combo, horrendous stock combo. But this is one of the instances where I'll say one part Vulcan carries the bay. I mean, the stock combo is horrendous. Like, I'm not gonna get you, like, honestly, some Beyblades in mid could probably beat this bay, but Vulcan is just, it's such a great metal wheel. It's so recoily, it's so good. I love this. This was one of my favorite metal wheels growing up, because it's how I got introduced to attack. Because even though Pegasus was supposed to be attack, Pegasus didn't get good hits. This guy, even in the bowls that were the Hasbro Stadium, would still smack Beyblades around, right? So as a kid, seeing this guy do that was crazy. And when I put this guy on Pegasus's tip, bro, when I put this thing on RF, bro, it was something crazy, let me tell you. But yeah, Vulcan, it's great. It looks great. I haven't done a lot of things about looks, but I mean, all the Beyblades look good, even the ones that are bad. Like Poison Virgo, this looks cool. Like Counter Scorpio, it looks cool. Hell, Thermal Lacerda looks really cool, but it's garbage. But yeah, Vulcan Harusius, Vulcan carries it. Even though I think Zarafa could probably beat it, Aquario definitely could beat it. Burn could probably beat it. These bays probably beat it, but would struggle. But anyway, it's my list. I ain't gotta explain. I explain how I feel, but at the end of the day, it's my list. Galaxy Pegasus. Oh boy. You know what? Let's get rid of this one. Let's say Galaxy Pegasus. Since for last. This is Ray Gasher 125 semi-flat. Go in the bottom of bad. It's not good. You don't get any good parts except for the energy ring. All the other parts are trash. Well, Ray is okay, but 125 garbage. SF garbage. Semi-flat garbage. Anyway, Galaxy Pegasus. Now, R2F is, I like R2F more than RF. I just have more consistency, and they do better for me than my RFs, even though I know they're pretty much the same. W105, 105 with more weight, low track with a little bit more weight. That could potentially help win some matchups, because when it comes down to stamina, weight plays a factor in Beyblade. So add a little extra gram, might do something. Pegasus 2, one of the best energy rings, pretty heavy. I love Pegasus 2. Galaxy, very not good, very bad. Galaxy is horrendous. It is light. It doesn't have a good recoil. It's a little recoily shape, but the shape isn't recoily enough to be good for attack. But it's not round enough to be good for stamina. So you really can't do anything with this guy. But switch the metal wheel out. I think, you know, when I look at this, what the hell? What the hell? I don't know what the hell just happened, but okay. We're back into this. I don't know what that was. Okay. Anyway, where did Galaxy? Oh, here it is. I'm gonna put Galaxy Pegasus at the tail end of mid. Why? Because with enough attack, with R2F, it could knock out Ground Pegasus. It could knock out all these Beyblades. Would lose to Galaxy Pegasus. Okay, every single one of these Beyblades in Bad and Trash will lose to Galaxy Pegasus. Now, I know I just said Vulcan could probably lose to bays below it, but I still put it above. It doesn't matter. This is my list. But Galaxy, even though Galaxy is not the greatest fusion wheel, the fact that, you know, the parts on it are good enough for an attack type, it can definitely take out some of the lower Beyblades because it can generate enough recoil against bad Beyblades. But once you start getting into actual quality bays, like all these bays, I think, you know what? It's in the perfect spot because all of the bays above it would definitely beat it, and all the bays below it would definitely lose to it. I'm pretty confident. So it can go on the bottom of mid. But anyway, this is my tier list. This is my tier list. I'll hide my camera for 2 seconds if y'all want to see. Well, even though there's none on that side. You know, actually, I'm keeping my camera on. Yeah, I don't see any changes I would make. If you have any changes, let me know. Let me know in the description where y'all will put things. If I made any big mistakes, let me know. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.